Hello everyone. In this video, I would like to share about the contamination of pesticides in food. History of pesticides. Since before 500 BC, humans have used pesticides to prevent damage to their crops. The first known pesticide was sulfur. By the 15th century, toxic chemicals such as arsenic, mercury, and lead were being applied to crops to kill pests. In the 17th century, nicotine sulfate was extracted from tobacco leaves for use as an insecticide. The 19th century saw the introduction of two natural pesticides, pyrethrum and rotenone. In 1939, Paul Muller discovered that DDT was a very effective insecticide. It quickly became the most widely used pesticide in the world. However, in the 1960s, it was discovered that DDT was preventing many fish eating birds from reproducing, which was a huge threat to biodiversity. Pesticide use has increased 50-fold since 1950, and 2.5 million tons of industrial pesticides are now used each year.
Each day, there are 200,000 new mouths to feed across the world, and by 2050, the global population will have reached 9 billion. This places an ever-increasing strain on food production and supply. According to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, the world must produce 60% more food to meet this demand. Farming cannot stand still. Modern methods are critical to providing a safe, affordable and sustainable supply of food. But it's important that we minimise the impact of food production on the environment and on wildlife. The use of modern crop protection technologies, such as pesticides, allows us to maximise the productivity of existing agricultural land, so leaving uncropped land as habitats for wildlife.
What is the pesticides? Pesticides are chemicals that protect crops from insects, weeds and fungi. Pesticides are used all over the world to prevent food from being harmed or destroyed by pests. The characteristics and toxicology consequences of each pesticide vary. Pesticides are tested and regulated by the US government. Produce is tested to ensure that levels are low enough to pose no threat to human health. Under the Food Quality Protection Act, the Environmental Protection Agency is responsible for ensuring that all pesticides used on food in the United States meet the severe safety requirements. To account for ambiguity in data relating to children, the Food Quality Protection Act requires an express finding that a pesticide's use on food is safe for children, as well as an additional safety factor of tenfold unless data demonstrate a different factor to be protective. Are pesticides harmful? Pesticides have the potential to be hazardous to humans and can cause both acute and chronic health consequences, depending on the amount and kind of exposure. The effect may also be influenced by the pesticide's quantity and concentration. Depending on whether a person gets it on their skin, drinks it, or inhales it, it might have varied consequences. Some of the older, less expensive pesticides can remain in soil and water for years. In developed countries, these pesticides have been outlawed from agricultural usage, although they are still utilized in many underdeveloped countries. Toxicity symptoms. There hasn't been much research done on the long-term health effects of pesticide exposure. The World Health Organization trusted source, on the other hand, claims that being exposed to significant levels of pesticides might disrupt reproduction and even cause cancer. Insecticides are often more harmful to humans than herbicides. According to the World Health Organization, poisoning can occur when a pesticide is used in big quantities. Poisoning symptoms can emerge immediately or after a few hours. There are 3 phases of symptoms: mild, moderate and severe. How are people exposed to pesticides? Pesticide residue can be found in food and water. Pesticides can run off fields or soak into the earth, allowing them to infiltrate waterways. Pesticides that are sprayed on crops or used in the soil might leave residue on produce. Pesticide exposure is also frequent in several industries and while spraying crops outdoors. Although people may consume pesticide residue, the Food Quality Protection Act regulates is the law that already set amount or safe level for pesticides in food. Who is most at risk? Pesticides are especially dangerous to people who work on farms. Workers who come into close contact with pesticides should be provided with personal protection equipment by their employers. Clothing that prevents pesticides from coming into contact with the skin or being inhaled is one example. Those who work with pesticides should see a doctor on a regular basis for checks. Women who are pregnant or breastfeeding should consult a doctor before using insecticides. Babies may be harmed by some pesticides. Which foods contain the most pesticide residue? These are the fruits and vegetables with the highest level of pesticides. These are the fruits and vegetables with the lowest level of pesticides. How to prevent from poisoning? Method 1. Wash all your fruits and vegetables before consume. Wash with running tap water. Method 2. Most of the contact pesticide residues that occur on the surface of fruits and vegetables can be removed by washing them into % salt water. Method 3. Vinegar soak. Make a solution with 10% white vinegar and 90% water and soak your fruits and vegetables in it. Rinse them thoroughly after stirring them around. When washing fruits with a porous outer skin, such as berries and those with a thin peel, use caution because the solution may damage the fruit's porous outer skin. Method 4. Blanch and peeling. Allow your vegetables to soak in warm water for a few minutes to eliminate any remaining residue. Peeling is another effective approach to remove residue, and it is especially advised when there is residue in the fruit's crevices. When cooking with chicken or meat, trim away any excess fat or skin that may have absorbed pesticide residue. Method 5. Firm fruits and vegetables, such as melons and root vegetables, should be scrubbed before eating. The outer layer of leafy vegetables, like lettuce or cabbage, should be discarded. Method 6. Buy organic and locally grown fruit and vegetables. The easiest way to ensure pesticide-free produce is to buy organic, in-season produce from your local market. Method 7. Use non-toxic methods for controlling insects in the home and garden. Commercial insect pest control solutions that use chemicals may introduce chemicals into your house that are more dangerous than the insects they are supposed to kill. Pesticides safety tips. First, if you decide you must use pesticides, always read the label first and follow the directions to the letter, including all precautions and restrictions. Second, before applying a pesticide indoors or outdoors, remove children, toys and pets from the area and keep them away until the pesticide has dried or as recommended by the label. Third, use protective measures when handling pesticides as directed by the label. Change clothes and wash your hands immediately after applying pesticides. 4. Remove or cover food during indoor applications. 5th, don't spray outdoors on windy or rainy days. Take precautions to keep the pesticide from drifting or running off into the vegetable garden, pool or neighbor's yard. 6th, if using a commercial applicator or lawn care service, ask for information about potential risks and safety precautions to take. Last but not least, food for thought. Because of higher production costs, the price of organic produce is 10 to 40% higher than conventional produce. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is concerned that people might eat fewer fruits and vegetables rather than pay more for organic produce. What choices do you make about buying organic vs conventional produce? Do your choices affect how many fruits and vegetables you eat? Think about that. That is all from me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye everyone.